The Deluxe Edition Network, also known as The Den, is an incredible podcast network that offers a wide variety of entertaining and informative podcasts.
With a lineup of shows covering various topics, such as interviews with a wide variety of guests, history, music, relationships, true crime, and so much more. The Den provides content that caters to a diverse range of interests.
The hosts and guests on the Deluxe Edition Network demonstrate a deep passion and expertise in their respective fields, making each episode on each show engaging and thought-provoking.
The network fosters a sense of community by encouraging listeners to interact through live chats, social media, and forums, creating an inclusive environment for discussion and sharing opinions.
With its commitment to high-quality production, the shows in the Deluxe Edition Network continue to captivate and entertain its ever-growing audience.
Whether you're a podcast enthusiast or someone looking to explore new topics, The Den is a fantastic platform to dive into and uncover fascinating insights from experts in their fields.
The Deluxe Edition Network is the home of independent awesomeness.
To find all these great podcasts in one convenient location, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Films and Fermentation, episode 143. That's right. We are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We are three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. Again, this is episode 143. In this episode, it's the pinnacle of award season for movies. We've had the Emmys, the Golden Globes, and the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Now it's time for the Academy Awards, the glitz, the glamour, the speeches, the unexpected bitch slaps. It's Oscar season, baby. That's right. Tonight is our Oscar preview episode. We're also going to be debuting the first annual Fermy Awards tonight. The Fermy Awards. They're the awards the Academy is too afraid to give out. Don't forget. Thank you.
Get my beer's name out of your mouth.
I actually started writing song parodies for tonight to try to do like a Billy Crystal thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I think I might be going too far with this. And I don't know if I have enough time. Because all I really got was an Oppenheimer song and a Barbie song. It was too hard to do all of them. I give Billy Crystal credit for doing that shit. Don't forget, you can drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon or buying our merchandise at teespring.com. We are now part of the Deluxe Edition Network. Find out more about us and the other podcasts on The Den by going to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. There you can check out our podcasts of the month, Bacon is My Podcast, and the Beard Laws Podcast. We'll be right back after this quick message from Coffee Brothers.
I love a good beer, but right now I could use a good cup of coffee.
Have you heard about Coffee Brothers?
Oh, yeah, they're that coffee company out of New York City, right?
Well, they're more like these coffee wizards of New York City. They source these amazing seasonal blends and single origin coffees. It's like a flavor adventure in every cup. And get this, they roast everything in small batches. None of that mass-produced stuff. It's like each bean gets the VIB treatment.
VIB?
Very important bean.
Sounds fancy. But is it worth it?
Definitely. Plus, they're a two-person team. I mean, that's dedication right there. Two brothers, one mission to caffeinate the world. And right now, you can save 10% on your order. I mean, who doesn't love a good discount?
All right, you've convinced me. Let's get some Coffee Brothers now.
Coffee Brothers, where every cup is a sip of perfection. Save 10% on your next order with the code FNF10. That's FNF10. Cheers to great coffee. And we are back.
I got
So, gentlemen,
an ad where it sounds like I was in the bathroom recording.
Well, now that we're using this new program, we could always re-record it at some point and do a little bit better sound to it.
The coffee's so good it ran right through me.
Yeah.
Isn't that where you end up after your coffee?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're doing a really good job promoting the coffee now, man.
No, it's good coffee. It's just I sound like I'm in the bathroom.
What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen? I went first last week, so who wants to go first?
I'm going to go second.
You're going to go second?
I'll go first because I didn't drink last week.
It also looks like Kevin is trying to wrangle his dog right now. So
I'm drinking one of these beers I got from a good friend, Leo.
Mm-hmm.
A Warhorse Brewing Company, the Rolling Storm Oktoberfest.
Yes, I really like the Rolling Storm Oktoberfest. I thought it was pretty good. That is their new line too. Like they just released that this year.
Nice,
Kevin. What do you got going on tonight?
So my wife was kind enough to hook me up with a Mix 6 before she left. And I like that Founders that I had last week so much. She found me another Founders. This is the Dirty Bastard Founders Scotch style ale, rich caramel notes with malty sweetness from their Venture series, where the classics never go out of style and new legends arise. This is 8.5% alcohol by volume. So it says here, the beer that put us on the map. Dark, ruby in color, Dirty Bastard is complex and finish with rich notes of caramel and dried fruits. A malty sweetness paired with a right hook of hop power gives this Scotch style ale all the attitude that its namesake implies. I didn't know whether it's an attitude or altitude.
Oh,
attitude.
I was worried there for a minute because from the angle I'm looking at it from your camera, it's got a red label and it's a stubby bottle, which reminded me of that, fruity, not fruity, that vegetable beer that Leo.
Oh, the vegetable beer. Yeah.
I was worried there for a minute. It was going with those guys.
I'm pretty sure my review of that beer is bad enough to turn anybody off. So, I decided.
Oh,
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, once I have that polished off, I got a golden monkey to, chase it. So,
because it's Oscar night, gold. Mm-hmm. So, because we're doing the Oscars, I went theme tonight. I am drinking a glass of champagne.
Champagne.
And the champagne was so cheap, it didn't even have a name on the bottle. It just said champagne. I'm not that classy.
It said members mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Sam's Club. Came in a jug.
Kirkland.
Yeah, Kirkland. Came in a jug like Lambrusco. Like, Mike, anything special happened this week?
This week in film history.
Somebody's reverb grew balls this week.
They dropped.
Yeah.
Same reverb I've always been using.
Yeah.
In 1970, Airport, based on the book by Arthur Haley, directed by George Seaton, and starring Burt Lancaster and Dean Martin, is released.
Yes, 1970s Airport, I think, is the film that's kind of considered like the first like disaster movie, like the first major disaster film, because then you had like Towering Inferno in the 70s after that. And it became the basis for the spoof film Airplane.
That's what I was going to ask. I thought it was.
Airplane was a spoof of Airport. What's your other one you got there, Mike?
In 1987, first Lethal Weapon, starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, directed by Richard Donner, is released.
All right. I'm not going to talk about 3 and 4 because they weren't that great, but Lethal Weapon 1 and Lethal Weapon 2 were both pretty good. Which one do you like better?
Oh,
I'm going to say like it's probably, I think I like 2 better.
Well,
which one was the one that had the toilet blow up?
That was 2.
That's the one I like better.
Because Kevin's used to blowing up toilets.
The thing is, the first Lethal Weapon was more drama.
Mm-hmm. Second one's more comedy.
They made it more drama comedy. Yeah, drom-com.
Yeah.
That one also have why can't I think of his name right now? Okay.
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. Yeah, Joe Pesci was number 2. Yeah. Leo Getz. Whatever you want, Leo Getz. Get it?
Okay.
You get fucked in the drive-through.
It also had diplomatic immunity. It's just been revoked.
That was the one where the really hot Russian lady was drowned or attached to a pier, right?
Yeah.
So
That was the running thing in the first couple of Lethal Weapons, was that Mel Gibson's woman always gets killed.
So it's hard to compare the two, since even though it's 1, 2, 3, 4, one is so different from the rest of the series that it's not.
One's very serious. He's like suicidal in the first one.
Yeah, it's a very dark movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Very dark. The second one's a little more. Second one to me, it seemed like it was riding a little bit off of like the Beverly Hills Cop coattails.
Yes,
like make it a little more comedy.
What movie spoofed Lethal Weapon by having it was a helicopter that completely annihilated a mobile home, and when you see like it collapse, and then Bruce Willis pops out of it and he goes, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Oh, we were looking for." They give the address. He goes, "No, that's Fort."
That's Loaded Weapon.
Loaded Weapon. Okay.
Loaded Weapon with Emilio Estevez. Not to be confused with Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
What I remember from the Loaded Weapon film is they did a Basic Instinct scene, and Kathy Ireland was playing the Sharon Stone character, and they get to the interrogation scene that you see in Basic Instinct, and when she turns around in the chair, there's an actual physical beaver sitting in the chair, and underneath it says "gratuitous beaver shot." All right, on to other things then. Beer or craft destinations for us tonight, Mike?
I have a must-try beer. Big Little Things Imperial IPA from Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, Chico, California, and Mills River, North Carolina. There have been a lot of Little Thing beers from this brewery. Hazy, wild, sunny, and now paradoxical big, which tantalizes your hop perceptors with flavors of mango, tangerine, grapefruit, pineapple, and coconut, along with a whooping 9% alcohol by volume. It isn't brilliantly clear, but only slightly hazy with an orange gold hue. Sierra Nevada didn't have to depend on high IBU hops to add bitterness, since the alcohol dries the finish. So despite having a big, chewy malt core on top of all the fruity hops, Big Little finishes dry enough to be drinkable. There you go, guys.
How was it? The last 2 descriptions of beer you gave us had the word chewy in the description.
I don't know. I don't read half the descriptions
That's
before.
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, we talked about chewy beer.
Yeah, but you wouldn't drink it. It has coconut flavor to it. So
No, I wouldn't drink the coconut flavor one either. No. That brings us to our newest segment, Beer News is Good News, brought to us by Kevin, which is celebrating its 1 month anniversary as a new segment on our show.
Woohoo!
Michael, I believe you have a new intro for us. So, Kevin, what
Thank you, Michael. I like it. Mike, I figured you may take interest in this as you are a North Carolina fan. But there are 2 tap rooms of craft beers that are closing down in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina.
that's Raleigh.
Raleigh. That's what I said, Raleigh. I said it. You just, you didn't. Is your microphone or your headphones on right there?
Sir Walter Raleigh, not Raleigh.
Yeah, Sir Walter Raleigh. Anyway,
the damn Irish can't speak.
You may be familiar with them. I checked my Untapped, and I don't think I've had anything from either one of these 2 breweries. Clouds Brewing and New Anthem Beer, both from downtown Raleigh. They're closing their doors it seems to be at the end of the month. Now, Clouds is going to keep its tap room that's on 1233 Front Street. That's going to stay open, but the other locations are going to close down. They just said it was a bunch of factors like COVID. They couldn't keep up with the lack of want during COVID and other things that just kind of like were out of their control. So it's a shame. A couple more craft breweries losing their way, but so it is. In addition to that, we have the best craft beer brands by state. And I figured you guys may find this interesting. Which state would you say, gentlemen, has the most craft breweries? Who'd like to guess?
Pennsylvania.
Incorrect.
New Jersey.
West Coast.
Really?
Yes.
California.
Wow.
California has the most craft breweries with 957, according to a 2021 count. It's also the state with the most craft beer produced, with over 3.5 million barrels and 3.8 gallons for every 21-year-old adult in the state. Now, that being said, which state do you think would have the least amount of craft breweries?
Rhode Island.
Oh, no, not even. A little further south. Mississippi. Mississippi only has 20 craft breweries present.
That's because they're drinking the hard shit down there.
Yeah, I also wasn't planning on traveling to Mississippi anytime soon anyway. So
now, I mean, it gave me all 50. Is there a state that you guys would like to know what their number one craft beer brand is?
We live in, so PA.
Well, okay, so let's do New Jersey first. It's the beer is the Carton Boat beer. Carton Boat from Carton Brewing. I'm trying to see if there's an exact location because I don't have it up here, but that's the beer, and it's 4.2% alcohol by volume. It is a grapefruit and pine flavor IPA. Oh, I know. It's like
grapefruit and pine.
And it's only 4 point something ABV.
4.2% alcohol by volume.
Like drinking water.
It's like
I'm getting the taste of needles in my beer. Are you?
It's like eating the forest.
So it's probably out of the Pine Barren. So what do you expect?
Probably. And Pennsylvania, I just had it. Was just up here. Oh no, where'd it go? Pennsylvania, Maryland, Maine, Louisiana, Kentucky, Kansas, Iowa, Indiana, Idaho, Hawaii, Delaware. Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA.
Okay.
That's going to mess you up quick. Connecticut, Colorado, Arkansas, Arizona, Alaska, Alabama. I am confused here, gentlemen. I don't know why I was almost certain I could find Pennsylvania on here.
Well, you said 50 states.
Oh, wait a second. That was my fault. You see, these are now we've gotten into the 10 biggest U.S. states for craft brewing.
No,
so here we go. Yes, it was something here. Thank you. Yes, close that down and put that away. And where the Michigan? Oh, Jesus. All right, you know what, guys? This website is just like popping up things all over the place, so I'm going to close that. Anyway, it's an interesting article if you can get through all the pop-up crap on Yahoo Finance. And the last one I wanted to bring to our attention is a brewery in Pennsylvania that is very themed. It is actually a cat-themed brewery in Pennsylvania out of Morrisville, PA. It is the Bitchin' Kitten Brewery, named after Bridget and Michael Crossan's cat, Shadow, who is said to have hated every single person she met. The brewery has got cat-themed beers, cat-themed aesthetics, and they work actively with the nonprofit Cat Rescue, donating portions of the proceeds to that particular cat rescue.
Let's hope their cat-themed beer doesn't taste like cat piss. That would be bad.
Hairball. They have one called Hairball. So, sorry, gentlemen, about that one. I thought that would be interesting, and it was a rabbit hole that just kept closing in on me. I felt flames
on the side of my face. Burning. Beer News is Good News is brought to you by Newsly.me. Newsly.me is an audio super app for iOS and Android that reads news to you in a natural human voice. Stop scrolling, start listening. Go to Newsly.me today and use the promo code ANFERMENT to get your first month premium subscription for free. That was our Beer News is Good News segment. That takes us to our notes from last show. We had a few scientifically accurate films that we forgot to mention on our list last week. One of those is War Games, which, Kev, I believe you had some information about why it's so accurate.
Yeah, I was reading. It's one of my favorite 80s movies. And I was just reading in the trivia that following the movie, the U.S. government took, what was in the movie so seriously that they actually had to audit and reconfigure, reconsider their actual nuclear response plan.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons that it was considered sort of a realistic thing. It was kind of like AI before AI was a thing.
Yeah,
a nice game of chess.
Yeah. We also had Gravity on there, which was another space film, stars Sandra Bullock. And aside from the fact that she would have more on underneath the spacesuit that she's wearing in the film,
just a little bit.
It was pretty accurate in other ways. Blade Runner 2049 was pretty accurate in how it depicts the damage to the environment as the years go on. And the last one we had on there that we missed was WALL-E, which is all about fat people that can't walk, and that's something I know a lot about.
It's a lot about the throwaway world that we live in.
Ultimately, you find out that there's a bunch of fat people that can't walk anywhere.
So in the class I teach, film appreciation class I teach, we were talking about satire and how WALL-E did show up as no, there is a it is slightly satirical because it is definitely it's got a commentary on how humans are and how we treat things, and leave it to Disney to stick us in the side.
It's a commentary on how we treat the environment. It's a commentary on big business and corporations. It's commentary on the laziness of Americans and their dependency on technology and stuff. And fat people that can't walk anymore. We're going to take a quick break, play some promos from some of our podcast friends over at the Den. And when we come back, we're going to go into our main segment. We're going to do a little quick preview of the Oscars coming up this Sunday. We're recording this on March. What is today's date? Today is March 7th. And the Oscars are this Sunday, the 11th. So we'll be doing some little bit quick preview of that. And then we have the first ever Annual Fermy Awards coming up as well. And we'll explain that to you after the break.
What's up, everybody? I'm Matt, the host of the Beard Laws Podcast, a podcast that has nothing to do with beards. A podcast where we aim to entertain and interact with our live viewers, but our listeners, they're like the quiet person that never talks sitting around the bonfire because the rest of the group is so entertaining, hilarious, wild, and a little bit dumb. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and let Beard Laws and the boys, Toby, Brandon, Logan, Zach, Richie, and our occasional special guest entertain you. We're live on the Beard Laws YouTube Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and for every reason you want to see us and or our beards. Check us out, thebeardlawspodcast.com. We're everywhere.
Hey man, what's your bacon?
I think you gotta tell everybody what that means first.
It's that extra side topping a main course in life that makes everything about your day even better.
Whether it's movies, music, cooking, paranormal, video games, whatever it is that helps you unwind, maybe even get a little bit inspired. We talk to hot new bands.
We are Felicity.
Hey, this is Bradley from Emerosa.
TV personalities.
Hi, my name is Rachel Pizzolatto.
Hi, my name is Patty Magley.
Wrestling personalities.
Hi, everybody. I am Eric Bischoff.
WWE Hall of Famer. The Godfather here.
Actors.
This is Sean Kanan. Thank you for joining us.
Fellow podcasters.
Emo Social Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Schrader. Pretty much any like-minded creative across all facets of the entertainment industry.
You can check out Bacon Is My Podcast on all streaming platforms, as well as the Strangerhood TV YouTube channel. New episodes dropping every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Listen in when we find the answer to the question, what's your bacon?
Welcome to the Growing Up Bananas podcast. My name is Ethan. This is my co-host Sam. What are we doing here?
The podcast will explore the internal battle of not just Asian immigrants, but every immigrant. Whether it's staying true to thousands of years of culture that our parents passed on to us and their parents passed on to them, or assimilating to what we see around us. So why is it bananas?
Well, a banana was a slur used for an Asian person who'd lost touch with their heritage. Yellow on the outside, white on the inside. Growing up is hard enough as it is, and we find ourselves in a situation where we're not quite Asian enough for the Asians, and unfortunately aren't able to change the colour of our skin.
Unless you're MJ.
Well, that's true.
We've been thinking about it, and as travel becomes more accessible, the world will become more intertwined. With that, the number of people who go through the same ups and downs of living in a foreign country, like we did, will rise. We want to share these experiences with you.
Throughout the journey, we're inviting a series of guests to share their compelling stories with us. We hope to have the likes of Dami Im, Jeremy Lin, Jackie Chan, and Ando, who will hopefully join us as guests along the way.
Follow us on socials to stay updated with Growing Up Bananas, and we look forward to sharing our stories with you.
We are back from that short break. Thank you for staying with us. We're now going to our main segment. We're going to take a quick look at the 2024 Oscars preview, take a look at some of the possible winners that are coming up this Sunday, look at the poll results for some of the questions that I asked online about this.
Poll.
And then we're going to pop into the real reason for tuning in tonight, our awards, the Fermy Awards. So I posted on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok this question: which film is winning Best Picture at this Sunday's Oscars? On Twitter, 78% said Oppenheimer, 15% Killers of the Flower Moon, and then a 4% tie for Poor Things and Barbie. On Facebook,
Bobby,
we got a quote from somebody named Kevin who said The Field is winning on Sunday.
I go for the underdogs.
You corned beef drinking motherfucker.
On Instagram, I had the same 4 movies up, but only 2 of the movies got votes. Most of them went to Oppenheimer, and a small percentage went to Barbie. And then on TikTok, you're only allowed to put 2 answers into your question, which sucks because I couldn't put all the movies in there. So I just did Oppenheimer and Barbie as they're like the two biggest ones of the year so far. 85% of the people who voted on TikTok said Oppenheimer, and 15% said Barbie. And one person wrote in the comments, "Who cares?" I'm not going to read that person's name. They don't deserve it, but I care. I like the Oscars.
Unfortunately, we do because it's what we talk about is films.
It's what we talk about, and it's something that I enjoy. I actually like the Oscars. I enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to get bitch slapped.
What do you?
So long,
who's your favorite host? Is it Billy Crystal?
It's Billy Crystal by far.
Billy Crystal. Yeah.
I actually thought Chris Rock wasn't bad, but that whole shit with Will Smith kind of ruined it for him.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel's doing it this year. He's not bad.
Done it a couple times.
He's done it pretty good before.
Hasn't Ricky Gervais done it?
Ricky Gervais does the Golden Globes.
Oh, okay.
They would never let him do the Oscars because he is so acerbic. It was the one. It was 2 years ago when he did the Golden Globes. He got up and in his opening monologue, he said, "You're actors. Nobody cares about your politics. Come at, get your little award, say your little speech. Thank you. You got to thank. Fuck off."
Exactly. You know what?
And they asked him back the next year.
I will applaud that one.
So we're gonna look at. I have two things here. Variety's website has their Oscar predictions, and then I have the lines.com, which is the official Vegas Lines website that is going to give us the odds for the winners of the Oscars this year.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds. Well, I'm going to tell them to you tonight because they're kind of funny. So the Best Picture nominees are, and this week I went on like a little tear and I watched as many films as I can watch in a given period and got through a good number of the pictures that are up for Best Oscar, for Best Picture. I didn't watch. There's a couple I didn't see because I didn't really have an interest in them. I watched the ones that I wanted to see and that I thought had the best chance of winning. Except for Killers of the Flower Moon, because I still don't have 18 hours set aside to watch that. So the nominees for Best Picture this year are American Fiction. I do want to see this one. I have not yet seen it. Anatomy of a Fall, which is a French film. I have not seen that. Barbie, which I have seen. The Holdovers, which I have seen. Killers of the Flower Moon. Maestro, which is the Bradley Cooper film where he plays Leonard Bernstein. That was pretty good. Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, which I just watched this week, and Zone of Interest. According to Variety, the most likely winner is Oppenheimer. Kev, I know you've seen Oppenheimer, right?
I have, yes.
What do you think about it?
I think it was great. I mean, look, I'm biased. I think Christopher Nolan, when he goes in, he just puts everything into his film. I think it's
related.
Are you guys related?
Oh, I wish I'd be inviting him to parties.
That would be the bias right there.
Okay, you biased because
No, I mean I like things that well thought out. His stories have legitimacy to them. His use of as much practical effects as he tries for. To my understanding, those scenes, those cut scenes where you see the fire and the churning and the things that they interweave throughout the movie were practically made. That very little computer effects went into that. I think it was done really well. If you went expecting any form of action, the only action that was given was Florence Pugh, and
she should get a supporting actress nomination for that role, and she did not.
She did a great job.
If there was an Oscar for Best Ensemble, it would have to be Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah,
because that was how many fucking people?
Man,
Jesus Christ!
Even the smallest roles had the biggest names.
Cillian Murphy. Who was the actress? Emily Blunt. Florence Pugh, like you mentioned. Robert Downey Jr. David Krumholtz. We just lost Kevin.
Uh-oh. Kevin,
now I'm going to pause it.
And they hit it, I was like, shit.
So I left off at Robert Downey Jr.,
Robert Downey
David
Jr.
Krumholtz.
Yeah.
The guy that played Han Solo in the Solo movies in it. He's one of the guys that's with Robert Downey Jr. all the time. Yeah.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Right, or whatever it is.
Matt Damon.
Damon's in it. What the hell's in it? What's his name?
Yes, him.
God, that guy. I haven't seen him in a movie in so long that I can't remember his name. Guy was in 30 Days a Night.
The guy that was named you can't remember because of his name. You know him. Yeah, that one.
That guy. I'm going to go to IMDb, but I'm actually changing my tabs. Hold on.
Kenneth Branagh's in it.
Kenneth Branagh's in it. So here I got it up here now. So here's
Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett. That's who.
Josh Hartnett, and he did not look anything like the way he did. I had to play. I'm looking at him saying, I know him. How do I know him? I know him from whatever. He is just totally different from the last movie I saw him in.
You also have the guy Jason Clarke, who was the lead, the head guy of the committee that was trying to find out his communist ties and all that stuff. Oppenheimer far and away was the best movie I saw this year. I'm glad Dune Part 2 didn't come out till this year, because I just saw Dune Part 2 Tuesday night. And if Dune Part 2 had come out in 2023, there would be some competition for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Dune Part 2 was fantastic. It was so good. So fucking.
Was it enough to make you want to buy a sandworm bucket?
No, I went to a different theater that didn't have the sandworm buckets, but it makes me want to go back and see it again. It was amazing. Kevin hit the tab again.
Oh Jesus! Can't take that man anyway. He's cut off. We're cutting him off. He's had enough.
All right. Hey, there he is. Stop hitting the tabs.
You've had enough. You're cut off.
You're cut off.
Damn Mac. I don't mean to touch it, but every time I touch it, it just reacts.
Bad touch. Bad touch.
Hey, that's why I said, man, fucking Max. That's why I switched to Chromebook tonight.
That's why.
So let's go to the odds site, thelines.com, and see what it says here. So they're giving money line odds.
Do that. We might lose Kevin.
Yeah, so they're giving us money line odds for this. Money line odds means the lower the number, the higher the chance of winning. Kind of like in golf, like the lower your number, the better your score.
Right.
Maestro plus 6,500. Past Lives plus 6,500. Zone of Interest, Barbie, and American Fiction all plus 4,000. Anatomy of a Fall plus 2,800. Killers of the Flower Moon plus 2,500. Holdovers and Poor Things plus 1,200. And their pick for Best Picture with a negative 1,000 odd.
Jesus Christ.
Moneyline odd, Oppenheimer. So it's pretty much, it looks like a hands down winner Sunday night for Best Picture.
Yeah, but that means you got to put like $1,000 down to get anything.
You win. If you bet 1,000, I think you win like 100.
It's like
bet 1,000 for 100, something like that. It's like 1 to 2 odds. Like you got to bet 100 to win $50.
Yeah.
The next category is Best Director. Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, and Chris Nolan for Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is fucking sweeping this year, man. It's winning almost every award that it's up for, I think, aside from like screenplay, which I think might go to Barbie.
But is it going to win the top 8 awards? Is that the one that always happened twice?
So it has Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor for Robert Downey Jr., and Best Supporting Actress for Emily Blunt. Those are the major awards that it has.
So it doesn't have Best Actress.
It doesn't have Best Actress, so it wouldn't be a big 5. But it's going to win. It's definitely winning Director. I think Cillian Murphy has the best chance of winning Best Actor. His biggest competition is Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, which is a really, really good performance. Robert Downey Jr., when we get to the odds for him, he's another one that's like hands down to win Supporting Actor. He's awesome in Oppenheimer. He steals just about every scene that he's in. It's not a campy performance. It's not a comic book performance. It's Robert Downey Jr., the actor, in that movie. It's amazing.
Yeah. His
And
best stuff since Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, which he was nominated for. That's not a joke. He was nominated for Tropic Thunder. So it looks like it's going to be Chris Nolan finally getting the Oscar that I think he deserved. I thought he deserved it for Dunkirk. I think Dunkirk was a masterpiece, and he was nominated but didn't win. So he's finally, I think, going to get the Oscar he's deserved for a while now.
Yep.
The next category is the lead actor, which we had already said is probably most likely going to be Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. We also got Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. All really good performances. Again, the one that I think is going to be the toughest is picking between. I forgot to do the odds for Best Director. All of the directors are plus and a number, and Nolan is negative 3,500. So I'm pretty sure he's winning. For Best Actor, Coleman Domingo, Jeffrey Wright, and Bradley Cooper are all plus 750 or better. Paul Giamatti is plus 200, and Cillian Murphy is negative 250. So not too much of a disparation between the two numbers, but it's looking most likely.
That's still 500 points.
It's still 500 points, but in terms of betting, like that's not a big range. But it looks like he's probably going to end up winning. Then we have the Best Actress in a Leading Role: Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. And this is where I see a little bit of disagreement between the two sites that I'm looking at. Variety has Lily Gladstone winning for Killers of the Flower Moon, but the Moneyline site has Emma Stone winning for Poor Things.
That's because she listened to what they said in Tropic Thunder and didn't go full.
Oh, she doesn't. She's more of a child in Poor Things than she is that. I have a lot to say about Poor Things when we get to the Fermy Awards. Yeah, I'll save it for when we get to our awards because I have a lot to say about her performance in Poor Things. But this is probably the most heated category. It's possible for both of them to win. They both won Golden Globes. She won for comedy and Lily Gladstone won for drama. And Emma Stone has won all of the other ancillary awards like Screen Actors Guild and stuff like that. So this one's the biggest question mark. She has an Oscar already, so that gives Lily Gladstone a little bit of an edge, I think. For actor in a supporting role, we have Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Bobby De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things was awesome. He was awesome. He was so funny. It was such a departure from the normal role you see him play. Mm-hmm. He's just over the top in it, but he's not winning.
Iron Man's going to beat the Hulk. Huh?
Iron Man is going to beat the Hulk. Yes, it's an MCU actor category this year. I think the biggest question mark is if the Academy decides to give it to Gosling for Barbie, since Barbie got snubbed for so many other awards. But I think it's hard to justify that because Robert Downey Jr. was so amazing in Oppenheimer. And according to the odds site, he's a negative 1,000 chance to win. Everybody else is a plus. Ryan Gosling was plus 650. So I really think it's going to be Robert Downey Jr. And I hope it's Robert Downey Jr. I think he's another actor who's kind of deserved it after all these years.
Yep.
I mean, especially on his comeback tour now, because since like Iron Man and then Sherlock Holmes and then everything else he's done since then, it's been awesome.
He's done his duty in rebuilding his brand.
Okay.
And even like Tropic Thunder, like I think he's like repaired his brand after so many years of like negative attention.
Yeah.
And shown that he is still a really good actor and should get the Oscar. And then the last, I'm just looking at the major categories tonight. So the last one I'm going to look at is Best Supporting Actress. It's Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, which I thought was a weird one. She was good in it, but I thought Florence Pugh had a more like face forward role in that film. Not to mention some pretty crazy sex scenes, but I thought she was more of like a more important character. Emily Blunt just kind of felt like she was there at times. Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple. I have not seen The Color Purple remake. It's a musical as far from what I know. America Ferrera in Barbie. She was really good. She's kind of like the surprise nominee of the year. Jodie Foster for Nyad and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. And it's hands down going to be Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers.
Yeah.
She was amazing in it. She's really good in Only Murders in the Building. She's really good.
Cop, right?
She's the cop. She's really good comedic actress, but she puts in a major dramatic turn in this film, and it's the only. She's the only one who kind of puts up against what Paul Giamatti does in that film, I think.
So they're not going to give it to Barbie just because Barbie got snubbed?
No. No. And according to the odds site, so here's your odds. America Ferrera for Barbie plus 2,500. Jodie Foster for Nyad plus 2,000. Danielle Brooks for Color Purple and Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, both at plus 1,100. And Divine Joy Randolph at negative 2,000. So it seems like most of the categories are pretty hands down, except for that lead actress one. Like that's the one that's kind of like still a little up in the air. Is it going to be Emma Stone getting her second Oscar, or is it going to be Lily Gladstone getting her first? So that's one I'm curious to see. And the screenplay one should be pretty up in the air too, since they tend to use the screenplay Oscar as like the thank you for coming award if you didn't win the best picture or director. So I'm kind of expecting Greta Gerwig to get the writing Oscar since she got snubbed for the directing one for Barbie. All right. That brings us to the big moment of the evening, folks. It's the first annual Fermy Awards. Sorry, Mike, I cut you off again, didn't I?
I came through.
Hit me.
I'll play it again.
These are the Fermy Awards, named after our show, Films and Fermentation. These are the awards the Oscars are too afraid to give out. Some of these I have runners-up in the category. Some of them I don't, because I didn't have that many films that I could pull from for these. But shockingly, I have not seen every film that I nominated for these awards. Some of them I nominated in name only, and you'll see why when we get to these categories.
When these categories came up to the Academy, this is what happened. Come on.
Exactly. Silence. What was that?
Run away.
I can barely hear it.
Yeah, it's a low one, unfortunately.
When they come up, when it came to the Academy, it was just silence, crickets. So here's our first category for the first annual Fermy Awards. Best Performance by an Animal in 2023. The runner-up, The Meg in The Meg 2, The Trench. But the winner, hands down, with a negative 3,000 on the Moneyline site, The Bear in Cocaine Bear.
I hear if he wins, I hear he's accepting the award on behalf of
the Bear.
No, not on the Bear. He just passed away. What's his Ray Liotta? Yeah,
poor Ray Liotta's his last film. Cocaine Bear. Both entries though were controversial in that they were mostly CGI. But hey, if The Lion King can be considered live action, why not Cocaine Bear?
Well, look, the Meg was a little tough to get, an actual megalodon
I may want to argue this point since Gollum couldn't be put on for the Academy Awards.
Well, but that's the point. These are the awards the Academy are too afraid to give out.
True enough. Okay.
If we were giving out the Fermi Awards back in 2005, Andy Serkis would have fucking won everything.
No kidding.
Best movie to destroy your childhood. Runner up, this Christmas horror film called It's a Wonderful Knife. That is a real film that came out in 2023.
Oh, God.
But the winner, hands down, because I saw it. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Receiving an award on behalf of Pooh, Christopher Robbins.
Piglet.
And I can't wait for the sequel because Tigger's in it.
And Tigger 2.
This is the one I think I had the most fun with because I got 3 runners up for the award. Poorest accent of the year. The runners up are Kenneth Branagh as Niels Bohr in Oppenheimer. Kenneth Branagh as Hercule Poirot in Haunting in Venice.
Which is French.
Russell Crowe as a Greek god Zeus in Thor Love and Thunder.
Which is Roman.
And the winner, Russell Crowe as an Italian priest in The Post-Exorcist.
Which is Greek.
His Greek and his Italian are very, very similar. The Pope's Exorcist is a big winner tonight at the Fermies. It's going to be getting named a little bit later on as well. Here's one I know Mike will agree with. Best movie based on a game that shouldn't actually work as a film. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves.
Yes. Well, that's because they actually did it right and did the freaking monsters that actually come from the game and actually made them look right. Then they also gave us the throwback for the cartoon series.
Yes. And I like that. The 2000 film version, which sucks horribly.
Oh, good God.
Did have an amazing Jeremy Irons performance because he was just fucking going for it. Didn't care.
Yeah.
And you get a similar energy from Hugh Grant in this film as the villain. I'm really enjoying the second half of Hugh Grant's career where he plays a slimy asshole in all of his films.
So, there is no runner-up. They're not Uncharted or...
See, that's just why I asked you guys to add to the list for me. I couldn't think of everything.
Okay.
I said, feel free to add.
Mario Brothers.
All right, Mario Brothers, Uncharted are runners-up. But I think D&D is the winner.
Mm-hmm.
D&D was a really good film. The next award, the best Keanu of the year, goes to Keanu in John Wick 4. There were no other runner-ups. There wasn't really any other Keanu films this year. The sequel that no one asked for. The runners-up are The Meg 2, The Exorcist Believer, but the hands-down winner, because it's also the Razzie Award winner for Worst Picture of the Year, The Expendables 4. Expendabler. Kev, you and I have seen the first 3 in the theater.
Yes.
We thought they were the comedy event of the year. Each one that came out.
C4.
I had 0 interest in seeing Expendables 4.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that they were scraping the bottom of the barrel to find action stars, and the best they could find was Megan Fox.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
LaBeouf.
The most unnecessary remake that no one asked for award. Or actually, sorry, I read that wrong. The most unnecessary remake that no one even knew about. Children of the Corn. When I was researching movies that came out in 2023, I was golly shocked to see that there was a remake of Children of the Corn. I had no idea there was a remake of Children of the Corn.
Why would you want to remake Children of the Corn?
I looked it up. They gender swapped the main character. Malachi is played by a girl. And I don't know what that does for the story, but I didn't have an interest in seeing it either way. The first Children of the Corn's Stephen King classic.
Scared the bejesus out of me.
The best MCU film by default, because it's the only one that was actually fairly good this year. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Your runners-up would be The Marvels, Quantum Mania, I don't even know. Is there anything else that came out this
I
year?
think that's it in terms of movies. I think the rest were series.
We're series, yeah, and we're not looking at that.
No.
So your best MCU film by default again was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is actually pretty good. It was a good. I thought it was a pretty good ending to the trilogy. They said goodbye to the characters in a really nice way. It was funny that the whole movie was basically about Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
A animated raccoon became the most important character in the MCU for a while. And another good Batista performance, which I might add, Batista is in Dune and Dune Part 2. And he was fucking phenomenal in Dune Part 2. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I can't wait to see the next movie that Batista does.
Best performance by a WWE former WWE superstar.
Most unlikely WWE superstar to become a serious actor.
It is not The Rock or John Cena.
Oh no, they're movie stars. Batista is actively trying to be an actor. Like he's making decisions. Best MCU film that is not officially an MCU film: Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
That was a good one.
Runner up by default, Madam Web. I was going to put Morbius on there too, but I was like, fuck that movie.
Morbius is almost a DC movie. Oh, did I go there?
Morbius is bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost considered DC.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. The most Wes Anderson film of the year is Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. It is the Wes Andersoniest Wes Anderson film I have ever seen. Like, I mean, Kev, you know, because you're a Wes Anderson.
It's almost a parody of a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, it's almost like Wes Anderson. It's almost like Wes Anderson is a caricature of Wes Anderson in this film.
I got you.
It is like so, like, you know how like each of his movies, like the production is starting to go more and more towards like the abstract and like and like surreal kind of.
Yeah.
And this one is
it's more like an art exhibit than it is a movie.
It's very much like about the production design and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Bill Murray in this one. You have Tom Hanks in it playing the Bill Murray part, basically.
It doesn't work.
It's not bad. It's a good movie. Not my favorite Anderson film, by far, but it wasn't a bad film. Jeffrey Wright's in it. He's really good. Scarlett Johansson is excellent in it. Jason Schwartzman's really good in it, and he's a Wes Anderson staple. And there's a real quick cameo from Margot Robbie in it that's pretty interesting. But it is definitely the most Wes Anderson film of the year. So here's where I get to my Poor Things rant. Best use of gratuitous nudity in a film. It's a 3-way tie between Poor Things, Jennifer Lawrence's film No Hard Feelings, and Saltburn. Kev, did you watch Saltburn?
I didn't. You scared me away from it.
I'm glad I did. You should be scared. You should be very fucking
I did watch No Hard Feelings.
Very good.
Yeah.
Weird use of a full nude scene.
Yeah.
Like J-Law is full frontal nude.
Yeah, I think she figured after that whole Sony email, hack,
the whole leaking thing, like might as well.
Like, what the fuck,
I mean, she's not the first time though. Like, she was in a film called Red Sparrow, and she has a pretty explicit like sex scene in that film too.
Oh.
But this one was just kind of like, whoa, all right, we're going for it.
Essentially running and tackling and fighting in the nude.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Poor Things. I wasn't sure if it was a really artistically like artistic film with like a message, or an excuse to shove Emma Stone into softcore porn. Because the movie is so here. All right, I'm gonna go on a separate rant first.
Oh God,
I'm so fucking tired of long movies that are long for the sake of being long. Like, a movie does not have to be 3 hours anymore. I mean, there are films that should be 3 hours that deserve to be 3 hours, but those movies are well paced. Some movies are just too long. Oh my God. Like That's why I love watching 80s and 90s movies so much, because most 80s and 90s films are like a tight 90 minutes.
Right.
You know, and even the films that go over 90 minutes are paced well enough that they don't feel like a really long film. Like Saving Private Ryan doesn't feel like a 3-hour film because it is a very well paced film. Jurassic Park doesn't feel like an over 2-hour film because it's very well paced. This was a 2-hour and 27-minute film that had about an hour's worth of sex scenes in it.
Wow.
That you could have cut down to about 5 minutes and still got the point. Like, it's a modern day Frankenstein story. She's a woman who dies, and Willem Dafoe plays the doctor that brings her back to life. When you find out she committed suicide and she was pregnant when she did it, he takes the brain of the baby and puts it into her skull and then reanimates her. And so she's basically a child in a woman's body for the first hour of the film.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually she discovers herself sexually as she matures. And then there's a whole segment where she goes to work as a prostitute. And it's just some of the most depraved, crazy fucking sex scenes that she is full frontal nude through most of them. And I didn't even find it hot. It was just more depressing.
Oh, but
and
sorry, you complaining about Emma Stone being full frontal? What?
I love Emma Stone. I just feel and she's amazing in it. It's a really good performance. But the movie was it could have been shorter. And one of the ways you could have done it was just cut that down a little bit. I get the point. I understand what you were going for. We were there after the first 2 sex scenes. So that's a 3-way tie. Saltburn. The lead actor Barry Keoghan has a 3-minute long full frontal nude dance scene at the end of the film. All right. Next category. Most misleading film title. The runner-up is The Pope's Exorcist. I thought the movie would have been amazing if it was about a pope that needed an exorcist. But no, he's an exorcist. Exactly. He's an exorcist who just happens to be the Pope's favorite. It should have been called The Pope's Favorite Exorcist. But that's not the winner. The winner is this film. This film is called How to Have Sex.
Is that the movie you were just talking about?
It's a coming-of-age film about some young girls in Britain learning about themselves sexually and becoming women. It's not a documentary like I thought it was.
Oh, I thought that was the Emma Stone movie.
No, that's called Poor Things. They should call that one Poor Emma Stone. Best Tilda Swinton cameo of the year. Tilda Swinton's cameo in The Killer, the new David Fincher film.
That was the one with
Fassbender.
Yes, Fassbender.
Really good movie, and her cameo. It's about 10 minutes long, but it's just she's on fire the whole fucking time. Best DCEU film by default. This category is non-applicable.
Are you trying to say The Flash and Aquaman didn't hold any water?
Not even Shazam! Fury of the Gods could hold water this year. It was a bad year for DCEU.
So you're trying
to say
most years
for DC.
So you're trying to say the non-Marvel movie Morbius was the best of the DCE movies?
I don't know about that. Maybe Aquaman might be better than that, but not by far.
Well, we are in James Gunn we trust.
Hopefully. The next award, the Wannabe Star Wars Award, goes to Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, Child of Fire, now on Netflix. Another film that is 3 hours long, doesn't need to be, and should just call itself Star Wars and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in his defense, not that I need to defend him, it was supposed to be a Star Wars film, which is why it's called Rebel Moon. Most twisted sex moment of the year. This is another 3-way tie. It's a 3-way tie between Barry Keoghan and Saltburn for the scene in which he slurps up jizzy water in a tub. Tied with Barry Keoghan and Saltburn for the time that he gives cunnilingus to a girl during that time of month. tied with Barry Keoghan and Saltburn for fucking a wet grave. So, Kev, if you were scared to watch this movie before,
yeah,
I just described to you the 3 most controversial scenes in that film.
Yeah.
In a film that ends with a 3-minute long full frontal nude dance scene.
Oh,
yeah,
my God!
It is
I
a
think I'm
film.
gonna be sick.
It is a film. They made that movie. It's there. It's on Amazon Prime.
No, thank you.
And the best Dakota Johnson quote of the year goes to her quote on Madam Web. My agent told me they were paying me $9 million, so I said yes.
It's a good thing she's got standards, you know?
Yeah. The runner-up for that award was every other quote that she had this year, including this one here, where she was asked about the movie flopping in the box office. And she basically said, my feeling has been for a long time that audiences are extremely smart and executives have just started to believe that their audiences are not. So calling out the studio executives.
Yep.
Like that's pretty ballsy.
That'll get her a lot of jobs. I'm glad she took the $9 million for this one. She should invest.
I'm telling you, she'll still get jobs. She's still going to get jobs. Like and we're still going to get interviews from her that are fucking amazing. I want her to keep working. I want to hear more interviews. I want to hear more interviews about the films she does.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't care about the movies. I don't care about the performances.
No, well, here's what I care about. The movies that they're making with her in it that money could be reallocated to something worth watching.
They're still going to make those fucking movies with or without her. So
yeah, they'll find some other poor actress to pay $9 million to.
Exactly.
So that was the first ever annual Fermy Awards. Mike, do you have any beer trivia history for us this evening?
I do, boys. I do. We know beer is good when it's inside of you. But how about soaking in it? There are beer spas around the world that let you just do that, including Baldin Spa in Iceland, the original beer spa in Prague, Czech Republic, Hop in the Spa in Sisters, Oregon, Thermal Beer Spa in Budapest, Hungary, Strackenberger Brewery Castle in Austria, and Misugui Resort in Kyoto, Japan. Several of these spas allow you to relax in a warm bath of beer, and many allow you to enjoy a cold pint of beer at the same time. Gonna go bathe in beer, boys?
I don't plan on visiting Eastern Europe anytime soon.
Well, there was Japan.
And as soon as you said it's good to have beer inside you, the first thing that popped in my head was the song that Russell Brand sings in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Inside of you. I
thought you were thinking of Saltburn.
No, Saltburn was
we try not to think of that.
I almost called that the best jizz mopper of the year award, but
wow, that champagne is hitting you hard.
I also had another award I was thinking about giving, but I decided not to because I thought I had enough of them. It was for the movie Godzilla -1, which I thought should have been in the Best Picture category, and it was called the "Are You There, Godzilla? It's Me, Margaret" award. But I decided against it. So, how was your drinks this evening, gentlemen?
Well, it was very tasty. Thank you very much.
I do like that. That Oktoberfest is good.
Founders has done it again with their Dirty Bastard. That was a tasty Dirty Bastard, and you can't go wrong with a Gold Monkey.
What was the one he had last week? Wasn't that one like a something?
It was another one. It was a barrel aged. It was like the barrel series. I'd have to look it up. It was
I remember that one was like something bastard as well.
That was really good.
And it was a cheap champagne, but I finished it. I hear you. Anyway,
week.
I hear you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for episode 143, our Oscar preview, as well as the introduction to the first Annual Fermy Awards. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Don't forget, you can drop us an email, filmsandfermentation@gmail.com, or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation. Find all of our social media and podcast links. You can find us at The Den, at the Deluxe Edition Network, at deluxeeditionnetwork.com. And you can also become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon or buying our merchandise at teespring.com. We are recording this episode on March 7th. It is going to be released on Tuesday, was it March 12th, Tuesday, right? Or did I get my dates wrong again?
No, March 11th is Monday.
All right, so March 12th is when we're going to be dropping this episode. So our next recording is going to be on Thursday, March 14th. That is officially known as Pie Day.
Pie Day.
Not apple pie or pumpkin pie, but 3.14 pie. So in honor of National Pie Day, I don't know if it's a national day, but I'm calling it that. In honor of National Pie Day, we are going to do an episode dedicated to movies with numbers in the title. That's right, not sequels, actual numbered films. So please don't forget to drop by the crossroads between pickled and fermented next time around for episode 144, the Pie Day episode. Once again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
You've been listening to the Films and Fermentation podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.